I believe there's a very good possibility with what's happening in the Medicare Part D PDP prescription drug market that there's a good likelihood that Medicare supplement policies will be, dare I say, irrelevant in 5 years. This is why. This video is brought to you by none other than Hire Heroes, you guys. Hire Heroes is your one-stop shop when it comes to virtual staffing and making sure that you have qualified talent with your business. One thing that I love about Hire Heroes, you guys, is they've actually gone through the process already of vetting and making sure that your staff member is well trained to best fit your needs. Whether you need help with social media work, posting things on your accounts, responding to people that send messages to your social media accounts, whether you need help with data entry or a multitude of other things that they're qualified to do, Hire Heroes has got you covered. If you're having trouble finding quality talent and number two, affording to be able to run payroll for that talent, Hire Heroes has got you covered with an affordable alternative to have a virtual assistant working for your business. There's a link down in the description of this video to where you can learn more about getting your own VA through Hire Heroes. I certainly recommend it. They're what we use in our business for all of our virtual assistant needs, and you will want to make sure that you check them out today. In 2022, the Biden administration passed a bill known as the Inflation Reduction Act. Many things were covered in this bill, but a couple of things in particular that impacts the Medicare space is the impact on prescription drug coverage. For many years, since 2005, 2006, since the Medicare Part D Act was passed by the Bush administration, the Medicare prescription drug program had kind of gone through this stage-like element over the course of the years, the most notorious of that being the Medicare Part D prescription drug plan donut hole, also known as the coverage gap. Now, the coverage gap essentially meant that when the clients and the consumers had used their plan and racked up a total cost of prescriptions over the course of the year, they would enter the donut hole and their cost would essentially rise for a majority of their prescriptions. This actually was crippling and has been crippling for many seniors over the years. And the Inflation Reduction Act looked to potentially try to solve this. Some of the things that were passed in the Inflation Reduction Act involved having a $2,000 Medicare Part D prescription drug plan maximum out-of-pocket cap limit on all plans, whether it be a PDP, whether it be a Medicare Advantage plan that has drug coverage across the board. This sounded like a win for seniors, right? And for a lot of people, it probably will be. We've all seen those clients that pay thousands and thousands of dollars over the course of the year in Medicare Part D prescription drug costs, right? There's never been a maximum out-of-pocket limit or a cap to what our clients would be paying for prescription drugs in the current model. There were other things passed in the Inflation Reduction Act that impacted Medicare prescription drug coverage, like the Insulin Senior Savings Program being expanded, where all Medicare prescription drug plan coverage options had to participate in the Senior Savings Program that capped certain and select insulins at a $35 copay for a 30-day supply. Previous to that, the insurance companies had the option of not participating if they so chose. The other thing that is imperative in the Inflation Reduction Act is that the government is going to be negotiating a certain amount of the highest cost prescriptions with the pharmaceutical companies that make them each and every year. They actually have a list and a schedule that will be run out over the course of several years, and each year they will be negotiating 5 or 6 or 7 new prescriptions each year to try to lower the retail cost. So all of this sounds good on the surface. So what's the problem? Well, as some insurance companies start to place their first looks for 2024 to the hands of agents, one thing that we've started to see with some insurance companies, not all, is the spike in premiums on PDPs. I actually did a video maybe about 1 to 2 years ago. I'll actually link it down in the description if you want to see it, where I talk about how the increased cost of PDPs and prescription drug plans when somebody gets a Medicare supplement and picks up a PDP to go with it could potentially make Medicare supplement coverage unbuyable for many. If there's anything we know, it's that Medicare insurance companies, carriers, make significantly less money on PDP business than any other type of enrollment. The amount of funding they get is minimal, and the premiums are typically very low. So if they are forced to then comply by putting a $2,000 maximum out of pocket over the top, what does that mean for the premiums on these plans and potentially even the formularies, the copays for certain tiers? A lot of this remains to be seen, as the $2,000 yearly cap max out of pocket does not kick in until January 1st of 2025. We will know probably a lot more a year from today at the time of recording this video. But one thing we're seeing with many insurance companies, or I should say with some insurance companies, not all, is they're starting to prepare for the inevitable. Imagine a world where instead of having a $6 to $10 to $15 to $20 option for a PDP, you have a $80 option as your lowest cost premium for a prescription drug plan. Imagine for a plan without a deductible, or maybe with a little bit better coverage, you have to be looking at the $100 to $120 to $150 price point for PDPs. The writing has been on the wall for essentially some years for anybody that's paid attention. Many insurance companies and carriers have pulled out of the PDP market. Some plans have made their most popular plans non-commissionable to agents. Insurance companies don't enjoy being in the PDP business. They are only in the PDP business so they can use it as a gateway and a segue to get in the door with the client and potentially market to them to move them to other products that they deem more valuable. This reminds me of early stages ACA. For many years in the ACA market, very few insurance companies actually wanted to play in the ACA game because it was looked at as a losing proposition for them. There was no way they could make money. They would almost certainly be in the red in terms of their profit margins. There was even an insurance company that was created by the government in early days of the ACA market called Arches. It was created by the government, ran by the government, and created for the purposes of driving more competition because they couldn't get enough insurance companies to participate in the early stages ACA. Of course, anything ran by the government is probably going to be a catastrophe, as we can all imagine. Arches went bankrupt in a very short amount of time. It's not around today for that reason. But anybody that's paid attention to the PDP market has seen similar trends. More and more insurance companies have pulled out of it. More and more insurance companies have made their PDP available, but it might not even be a little bit competitive with some of the others. As time goes on, money has to come from somewhere. Insurance companies are too smart, too calculated, too antiquated to put a product out there that they have no ability to make any kind of profit on whatsoever. Just because a new rule is passed doesn't mean that it won't create another domino effect for seniors. At this point, I'm more just speculating than anything else, but I would anticipate to see an influx of premiums start to really increase over the next couple of years on PDP plans. There's a good likelihood that you might even see more insurance companies exit the space altogether. So imagine a world where a client can get a Medicare supplement. Maybe they can get one for $100 a month. In some states, maybe it's $150, $200 a month. But they also have to pay $100 a month or more, possibly for their PDP plan. And maybe the formulary is not as advantageous. Maybe there's a deductible with it. But Medicare Advantage plans receive a tremendous amount of more funding than PDPs can, so they can maybe handle the brunt of the costs a bit more. So someone can move over to a Medicare Advantage plan and get better drug coverage. It might potentially save them thousands a year in drug costs, but as well as premium on just the drug coverage alone. And they can do it for a $0 monthly premium possibly. I have already seen this trend for the last couple of years in my own office. I have had people that have come into our office for an appointment. They've done online research. They're turning 65. They've had their mind made up. They want a Plan G. They know that's what they want because they read all these terrible things online about Medicare Advantage plans. And then we run their prescription drug comparison. One fellow comes to mind that the very best PDP in mind for him gave him in the ballpark of $4,000 to $5,000 a year in out-of-pocket. He was not low income enough for things like LIS, Medicaid, subsidies of that kind, but he was not high income enough to where that would be something that he would enjoy paying. We ran it on the Medicare Advantage side, and it was the best plan available, offered him all of his prescriptions for the year for about $1,500. Significant savings. This was probably as recently as last year. So the writing is on the wall. If Medicare supplement plans die and erode and become irrelevant, it's not because Medicare supplement plans are not wonderful, great plans in theory. It's that the prescription drug coverage is going to be almost impossible to compete with Medicare Advantage prescription drug coverage, especially as these new rules of the Inflation Reduction Act start to kick in. We've already seen Medicare Advantage market penetration start to eat away at Medicare Supplement market penetration. Every single year, the Medicare Advantage market penetration grows and the Medicare Supplement market penetration dips. I believe that if this actually is going to kick in, which for all intents and purposes, it will, in 2025 with a $2,000 maximum out-of-pocket cap, we will see significant changes a year from now on PDP plans, and a lot of people might not be prepared for it. It might make it utterly for many, many people to consider a Medicare supplement plan. Now, do I think Medicare supplements are going to completely die? No, that's not what I'm saying, but their relevancy could take a significant hit when this all starts to kick in. It's not the Medicare supplement that's the problem. It's the PDP that they have to get when they get a Medicare supplement that could be the downfall for the entire product line. What do you guys think? Am I off base? Am I totally looking this the wrong way? Comment your thoughts down below. Let's have a dialogue. If you found this video helpful, insightful, educational, and useful to be brought to your awareness, do us a favor. Smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. It helps more agents just like you who need to see this information find it easier. Make sure to comment your thoughts down below. As I mentioned, subscribe, and we'll see you next time for more content. Thanks, guys.